Hello friends, today I am going to explain to you some common type of fractures. Now this, as you can see, is a normal bone. There is no fracture. Now this is a bone with a spiral fracture. A spiral fracture is a fracture in which the fracture line runs spirally along the bone. This is caused by a twisting injury. For example, during sports or during accident or during automobile trauma. This may occur in long bones of the body, especially in femur. This is a femur, or in tibia or in fibula. Next, I'll show you a spiral fracture which is separated into two parts. As you can see, the spiral fracture, the line runs spirally along the bone. Now let's come to the next type of fracture. This fracture is a transverse fracture. A transverse fracture is a fracture in which the fracture line runs perpendicular to the long axis of the bone. This occurs by a bending force. Example, in automobile accidents. Next, we come across an oblique fracture. Oblique fracture is a fracture in which the fracture line runs diagonally across the long axis of the bone. This is caused by a sharp blow that causes the bone to break at an angle. Example, fall from an height and accidents. Now next type of fracture is a segmental fracture. This, as you can see, is a segmental fracture, friends. Here the same bone is broken at two different places, leaving a floating segment of bone in between. This is more common in long bones, and this type of fracture takes longer time to heal. The next type of fracture is a comminuted fracture. As you can see, the bone is fractured into 3 or more fragments, and also there is a fracture fragment in between. This is usually caused by high impact trauma, causing the bone to crush. You can see the comminuted fracture fragments clearly. Now, the next type of fracture is a linear fracture. This is a more simple type of fracture. Here, the break is parallel to the long axis of the bone. This does not break the bone completely. This is a linear fracture. Now, the next type of fracture is an avulsion fracture. Here we can see the avulsion fracture. Here the fracture fragment is pulled off a bone by a tendon or a ligament which is attached to it. This is more commonly seen in children than in adults. Thank you friends. Hope you enjoyed the video.